What's up, Escape the Fate fans? How are you guys doing? We are live here. It is a beautiful day. It is Saturday the 28th, and I'll allow you guys to come and say hello, and we'll do a little Q&A thing here at Starbucks while I wait for my coffee to be brewed. Alright, is this thing working or what? I got distracted. Alright, cool. Sorry, it was frozen on my end. So how you guys doing? Let's do this Q&A thing. Your song, Just a Memory, I listen to every day. Keep up the good work. Thank you very much, Brittany, for writing that. Victoria, we will come back to Louisville, Kentucky. Trisha, I ordered a venti caramel macchiato, but I ordered it skinny because I'm watching my figure. Yeah. What's up, Scott? Hello, Dylan. You are the best. I think it's Cheyenne. What's up? Oh, what's up? Saw you in Adelaide, South Australia. Best band I've ever heard. Sound perfect. Thank you very much. We really appreciate that. Waiting for the next hit. We'll fill up. I'm telling you, I'm bringing the hits. I'm bringing the dopest songs you guys have ever heard from Escape the Fate. It's a little different, but don't worry. There'll be tons of shredding, tons of aggression, and really great songwriting. David Miller. We will be coming back to Richmond and Virginia. Probably the summertime or else right after the summertime before our record comes out. Trisha Jean, we will come to PA. Were you all on drugs at the London show last year? I'm confused by that one because which London show was it? I think we played in London a few times, but I don't think we were all on drugs. Maybe just really high on life. Lisa says, when are you coming to Philadelphia, PA? Well, Lisa, I hope we're coming to Philadelphia very soon. Let's see, any other questions, Q&A stuff? Nicole, thank you very much. All right, so Nicole says, the song Alive is my all-time favorite song. What is yours? Now, I'm wondering if you're asking all-time favorite song from Escape the Fate library or ever, because ever is probably a really tricky question because I love a ton of different songs and it's hard, but I can tell you, listen, I feel like Just a Memory off the last Hate Me record is like one of the best songs that we've done, and it's one of my favorites to play live, at least. Favorite band from my childhood, not necessarily a band, but pop star, King of Pop, Mr. Michael Jackson was my favorite. Am I Mexican? No. The Spanish side of me is actually Ecuadorian. Let's see. Sorry, I'm not catching up with all this stuff. All right, let me find another question. Are you going to your with Flyverse? I think that means tour. Hopefully soon. I mean, I think that would be fun to do another tour with them. We've toured with them before. Let's see what else we have. Did the barista spell my name right? Well, I don't know yet because I haven't got my drink. Guitar player you look up to the most. This is also a tricky one because I look up to a ton of guitar players, and especially with Instagram, I'm constantly on there discovering new players all the time. But one of my favorite guitar players of all time has to be either A, Steve Vai. As far as technique goes, I took a lot of my technique from Paul Gilbert, especially with the alternate picking. And another one of my favorite guitar players is Van Halen. What made you want to do what I do? I don't know. That's a tricky one. I've wanted to do what I do since I was about 8 years old. So I've never looked back. I've never thought of another thing, option, way of living my life, and it's just what I do. Always going to be in music, whether it's playing in bands, writing music, managing bands, working in labels. Will you guys ever play Let Me Be Live? That's a strong possibility that we will, but although we have another record that we're making right now, so it's going to be focused on those new songs. Let's see, who else do we have on here? These comments are flooding in. Alright, so Michaela says, are you Team Edward or Team Jacob? And I would have to say Team Jacob, because they used my abs as a stunt double in the movies. Where's my coffee? Alright, are you going back to the Philippines? Yes, we're absolutely coming back to the Philippines soon. Let's see, what other questions do we have? Can you guys come to El Paso again? We sure can. I don't know if you guys know this, but we are doing a little mini tour on the way to Texas for the South by So What Festival. So those tour dates are up right now. We're doing VIP meet and greets for every single show. So we want to meet you guys, we want to hang out and have a good time, party basically. We have a tour with Falling Verse again. Yes, strong possibility that we will. We get along with those guys pretty well. Favorite Starbucks drink? If I'm being like bad and like cheating on my diet, I'll get like caramel macchiato, but typically I'll go and get an iced coffee with a splash of soy. I think this is my coffee right now, actually. Send in these questions, I'll answer all of them. Cool, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Here it is. They got my name right. I think they got it from my credit card. Alright, some more questions. Take your glasses off. That's more of a demand and not a question. I don't know how to answer that. Can you guys cover Dead Again on this next little tour in Mexico? That's a tricky one. I'd love to play that song. Maybe I'll guest with Dead Rabbits on a tour. Who knows? Alright. Sorry, I'm going to be like sipping on this thing. Come to Columbus. When's that on the schedule? Not sure. You guys will know probably before I know. Do I smoke? No, I do not smoke cigarettes. Yeah. Don't enjoy smelling like smoke. Will you tour in the UK? Yes, we absolutely will be in the UK soon. Hopefully sooner than later. Let's see. Wow, this notified me that this is the most commented live video we've ever done. Can I take my glasses off? Yes. They're back on. What is one band you would want to play a tour with? I would like to tour with Muse. My biggest personal inspiration. I would say my mother is my biggest personal inspiration. She came from a third world country called Ecuador from South America, moved to New York City, and without getting too personal, she's just, you know, came from at the age 16, I believe, not speaking a word of English, and totally went to school, learned English, and ended up going to college and moving to Albany, New York, and raising a great family. And she was a really supportive, great mother to me, and still is, actually. And she lives in California now. I remind you of an American Ben Bruce. Maybe that's because of this hat. That's probably the only thing that we have similar, is that we both wear a backwards hat sometimes. What do you do to pass the time, or do you like to do on days off? Plus, will you be back in Chicago? From Joe Marie. In my pastime on tour, which I'm assuming you're asking that since you're asking about days off, because I don't have any days off when I'm home. because living in Los Angeles, there's always work for me, and there's always something that I do. When I do have days off, I'd like to go to the gym, do some sort of activity like golfing, or else hitting the gym, playing some sports, going out, or maybe just going to a movie and relaxing and trying to not do anything music related when I'm not, because I'm doing music all the time. All right, let's see. Hope that answered your question. All-time favorite ETF song. I said earlier, Just Memory, but now Live for Today is one of my favorites. I don't know, it changes from day to day. I think ETF has an awesome catalog of music out there, and you can check out all our music and every record that we've ever done, stream it for free on Spotify and iTunes. And on Spotify, if you go onto our Spotify page, you'll find out that we have a bunch of different playlists that the band actually curates all the playlists. So we have one called Escape the Fat, which is like more upbeat tempo songs that me and Robert or the other guys would typically listen to in the gym. I have like an emo night one that I did. There's a general Escape the Fate playlist that's always getting updated, so that has a ton of random stuff on it, like from every band member. I think even Frank Sinatra's on it. Okay, more questions. What's your main inspiration to keep going when times get tough? What keeps you driven? Well, that's a really, really good question, Sean O'Brien. So what's my main inspiration to keep me going when times get tough, and what keeps you driven? Because those are two things that you need to have to maintain a career in the music industry. The music industry is constantly changing. What was relevant 1 year ago in the music industry is completely different now, so you always have to keep on top of your shit. For me, I find a lot of inspiration reading different books, podcasts. I go on hikes up here in the hills called Fryman Canyon. I'll just go hiking and listen to a bunch of different music or podcasts and totally get out of my head, and kind of run off all the stuff that can kind of get you down at times. And then I usually come up with ideas for songs, riffs, and I'll sing them into my voice memo, and then come home and write those songs, or else, start going about those ideas. I hope this one gets answered. Desiree, do you have any advice for someone struggling with depression and anxiety? This means so much to me. Well, thank you for asking your question, Desiree. I'm not a doctor, so I can't, on professional terms, speak too much on this subject. But for me, whenever I felt down or anxious, which caffeine does not help with anxiety. It probably does the opposite. Because if I have too much caffeine, I get a little anxious myself. Yep, I just spit some coffee out. But when I'm feeling down or have anxiety, I like to literally run it off. I'll go in my car, put on my gym clothes, go to the gym, get myself out of whatever environment I'm around that is causing that, and literally work out and get my heart rate going and listen to my favorite songs that make me feel happier or lift me up. And that usually does the trick for me. And I find if I don't work out for a few days in a row, or if I don't even go for a good little jog, then I start to get down and I start to get depressed, and I start to get have lower energy. So I like to stay active. It's it's the inertia. Once an object in motion is in motion, it stays in motion until it stops or whatever. That's kind of how I am. So it's I have to literally do jumping jacks sometimes to get going. Thanks for that question. All right, let's see, what else do we have? What's a band that you recommend that is a must listen to? Well, currently I'm listening to a few different bands. Listening to the new Periphery a bit. I really like Periphery. I think they have some cool odd time signature stuff, some complicated riffs, but it's all very melodic, and they're still writing really cool songs. Another band, Love and Death. It's one of the guys from Korn's record. As Lions, they're on 11/7. That's another band I've been listening to. You should check those out. Other than that, I listen to a lot of podcasts, and I'm actually starting my own podcast called Thrasher's World, which I'll be letting you guys all know the info on that once it gets started. Is this not the most badass pic of you? I don't know what pic you're speaking of, Cam. Sorry. Let's see, what else do we have here? We have 750 comments. That's a lot of comments to go through. Nipple shoot. I don't know what that means. Okay, what else do we have? Can you please answer this one? How did it feel to be an ETF when you first got in? Well, Tristan, thank you for asking that question. It was a cool experience first joining Escape. You know, it was a long history with us when I was first coming into the band. I was coming in as a hired guitar player, and I was doing a lot of these gigs. I just came from my old band, which is called Love Hate Hero. And Love Hate Hero is a band that I did 2 records with. We were on Ferret Records. We toured with Escape the Fate a bunch of times. It was a long history, so I'm not going to go into all of the details. But basically, I started being a hired gun for different musicians and artists, and engineering and producing, and not being in bands. And then, you know, finally, when I got the call for the Escape the Fate gig, you know, it was like, we need you tomorrow, learn 15 songs. I was like, cool, let's do it. Stayed up all night, learned all the songs, was tabbing stuff out on the airplane there. And it was a fun and exciting experience. It was just nice because at that time I was not touring, I was just in the studio, and it was cool to get on a stage and rock out and play some big shows with these guys. The rest is history. All right, other questions. Do you feel ETF will stray away from their sound in the future? From Sean. Such as when Danny left Asking Alexandria. Well, I feel like Escape the Fate has a sound, and it's always had a sound to it. And I think that I've brought a different sound to the band, whether you guys like it or not. Hopefully you like it. But yeah, we can only write what we want to, and can only write what we write. And if that's different or exactly the same is up to literally like the stars. It's up to fate, you know. It's up to how we're feeling at the time, and that's how the songs will be. All right, let's see. How much music theory do you use when writing your solos? From Charlie. That's pretty funny. I don't use any music theory when writing solos. That was a funny question I just passed. I'll get to that in a minute. Yeah, I don't reference theory. I mainly improvise over a loop. So I'll loop a small section of the solo or the whole solo, and I'll record every take and play it a bunch of different ways until I start like feeling out like the vibe. Or else sometimes another way I approach solos is I'll put the guitar down and I'll literally sing. I'll be like, and I'll sing it, and then record that on a voice memo, and then transcribe what to do. So cool. We got Duty, David, Rico on here. Advice for upcoming bands. So David, Duty, I just recorded his band's EP. We did 4 songs together. We did live drums, which is really fun because I don't think these guys had ever done live drums before. So brought them to my buddy's studio. We did all the live drums, and then we did all the vocal tracking, guitar tracking, and bass tracking in my smaller production studio that I have at home. And the record came out awesome, and you know, you'll be hearing that. That'll be coming out soon. It's an EP for a local band out here in Los Angeles. They're called A Hard Knock Life, so check them out. But advice for up-and-coming bands. I think a lot of up-and-coming bands have the misconception of once you get signed, or, you know, they all want to be signed to a label, and it's like, that's just not how the music industry works. My advice for young bands, play shows, play as many shows as you can. Play your freaking parents' basement and like invite all your friends over and invite some other bands to play. Another thing for trading shows is you can play a show in a city and take a neighboring city, find a band out there on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook. It's so easy to connect with people and talk to people. Trade shows. All right, say I live in LA and I have some friends that live in Orange County. Hey, I have a connection with the Whiskey. We're going to play the Whiskey tomorrow night. I saw that you have a show in Orange County on Saturday. We'll put you on our show if we can play your show, and trade dates and stuff. And I think that's, you know, the key is to play a ton of shows. What amps and effects you use for This War Is Ours? Live, when I'm playing This War Is Ours, I don't use too many effects, but I do use my tube screamer before the solos. I do a tiny bit of reverb and delay, which comes out of the effects end of my amplifier, and the amp I'm using is a PV 6505 Plus. What advice do I have for struggling, aspiring guitarists? From Brad. I don't know exactly what you're struggling with. If I knew that, I could better answer your question. But my advice when you are hitting a plateau or you feel you're not getting better at your instrument or the guitar is to find a new source of inspiration. So if you're playing, all you're playing is metalcore all the time, listen to classic rock, listen to a Led Zeppelin song, and try playing that. And you know, that might get you out of your rut and stuff. You know, don't go straight to sweeping and playing arpeggios and trying to have, you know, all this crazy technique. Like you can't run before you walk. So I would just recommend take it slow, learn a little bit of guitar at a time, and you know, you should be fine. All right, let's see. What other questions do we have? I've been on here for a little bit. Do you guys know, let's see, Andrew says, do you know if you guys will be on Warped Tour? Please answer. We have no idea yet, Andrew, if we'll be on Warped Tour this year, but if you want to try to get us on a few dates, message Kevin Lyman on Twitter. He listens to you guys, he talks to you guys. Hit him up, say you want us to get Fane on Warped Tour. Maybe we'll play a couple shows. All right, let's see, what else do we have? Beth says, any best way to obtain a photographer's pass to your shows? This is a common one because there's a lot of photographers out there. The best way is to contact the band via DM. If you're really good and they check out your profile and it looks like you're legit and you're not just like trying to come in the photo pit just to like get closer to the band and like take stuff. You know, if you're a legitimate photographer, show your work on Instagram, shoot one of the band members a DM, and you never know, you might get a photo pass. You know, it's one of our shows. Let's see, what else do we have here? We got Tyler in the group joined here. Saw him pop up. That's awesome. So, all right, I've only got time for a few more questions, and then I gotta bounce and finish the song I've been writing all day. You're welcome, Beth, no problem. What is the hardest song you have written in your opinion? So in my opinion, the hardest song that I have written is the song that I haven't written yet. Every time you write a song, it's a completely new challenge. It's a complete new thing. Every time, it's like I've written so many songs in my life, and it does get easier, but it's always a mystery. You're like, you may start off in this direction, and then by the end of the song, you wrote this whole one tiny little bit of melody that inspired a whole song that you write in 2 seconds. I like to, you know, improvise and come up with different riffs until I find something that I really like, and then I finish it quickly. And once I do that, then I go back and refine and make all the riffs cooler. I'll play it in tune and all that stuff. All right, 2 more questions and then I gotta roll. Take care, Paige. See ya. Thanks for joining. Do you guys have a say for who opens for you, or is it up to the promoters? From Marcel. Typically, it is up to the promoters. I have a few bands that I manage that I sometimes can get on our shows last minute, but a lot of the time, promoters want bands that can sell tickets, and that's just how the music industry is. And you know, if you're willing to work hard, promote the fuck out of shows, then you can probably open a larger band's show in your town. Do you feel like it's harder for female-fronted or female-dominated bands than male bands? So this is a loaded question because there's a lot of different debate on it. I think the pool of female-fronted bands is smaller than the pool of male-fronted bands, so at the same time it is easier to stick out. I think you have to be really, really good at what you do, you know? You have to sing on point, the performance has to be there, your band has to be tight. But at the end of the day, a great band will thrive, and a not great band won't do well. Let me play bass for you. Maybe we'll have some people play bass on a live show. So I'm gonna roll, but thank you guys for joining me on this live stream today on Facebook. It was awesome talking to you guys. I'm gonna finish this coffee, get all hyper, and finish this song for ETF 2017. So I'll see you guys. Peace.